Call the meeting order, planning and zoning meeting for January 20th, 2022 order. Rise. We're going to meet here today. Doing business with the city of Leesburg. We ask that decisions we make will be pleasing in your sight. Pray this in our most holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, commissioners, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We made it. Please turn your microphones on if you have anything to say, so it can be recorded. No, I don't have anything to say about that. I was going to say something, but I'm not going to. Good. Dan, if you would like, you can talk to the crowd. We don't have a very big one, but it's how we do business here on planning and zoning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to welcome everyone to the January 20th, 2022 City of Leesburg Planning Commission meeting. My name is Dan Miller, Planning and Zoning Director for the City of Leesburg. Today on the staff, we have Sabrina Mitchell, our Administrative Assistant to my left, Diane Pacewitz and Carrie Lee Murray, Planner, and Christine Rock, Candy Harper, Senior Planners as well. There are some agendas left on the table by the door over here if you do not have one. If you'd like to speak on a case, we'd ask that you would please sign the speaker's registry, which there are forms up here at the front table, and then give those to Sabrina. Under the rules of participation, the meeting will be conducted under the following process. The chairman will announce the case. Staff will read a list of exhibits that includes maps, photos, and text into the record that will show on the screens. Staff will then read a recommendation into the record, and the applicant will have the opportunity to speak about the request. Then there will be a time for public comment and a time for public rebuttal. At that point, the chairman will close the case. The commission will discuss the case. There will be a vote taken, and then the commission will move to the next case. The planning commission consists of citizens who are appointed by the city commission. They have two major responsibilities. First, they make decisions on cases such as variances and conditional uses. The second is to make recommendations on issues to be heard by the city commission, such as other zoning cases. Today, the planning commission will make one final decision on a variance and 4 other cases, which are zoning cases that will be forwarded to the city commission for decision. There are tentative dates for those city commission hearings that are listed in bold on the agenda for each item. They're also subject to be changed to earlier or later dates, so we ask that you please check P&Z staff or the city clerk's office regarding final hearing dates. And then finally, on behalf of the planning staff and the Leesburg Planning Commission, we'd like to thank you for your participation in today's public hearing process. Mr. Chairman, staff is ready for you to announce the first case.
Thank you. I'm going to get the minutes approved if I could first, Dan. I'm getting out of order here a little bit. Before you, you have the minutes from the December 16th, last year's minutes from 21. Are there any additions, corrections, or amendments to those minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries.
We got a full 7.
Okay, we got some people here that want to talk on some of these issues, and we swear you in. So anybody that has something they want to say today in our meeting, please rise and we will swear you in.
You swear affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I didn't hear any I do's. Okay, there you go. My wife makes me say I do. Okay. You're chuckling down there, Nathan. It happens to you too, doesn't it? First public hearing case, VAR variance 21443, Cherry Stone variance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is, by way of background, this case is for a variance to Section 25280 to allow a reduced rear setback for one lot in the Seasons at Park Hill subdivision. Candy Harper, Senior Planner, will present the exhibits at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Before you on the screen is the layout of the Park Hill subdivision, and this picture was taken long before the houses went in. So what you see at the rear of the lot is not actually the way it is now. There's grass there, and it flows into a DRA, but this will locate that lot in that subdivision. And the zoning is R1. There's Lake County zoning around it that is residential and lakeside and conservation to the east. Our future land use shows conservation over the whole area, and that's because I believe the St. Johns River Water Management District lands lie immediately to the east, and then you run into Lake Griffin. And Lake County has conservation over the St. Johns River Water Management District and urban low density to the south and west. The surrounding land uses are all single-family residential around the structure, and common areas where the DRA is, and then, of course, the St. Johns River Water Management District areas where you see all the trees. And that is also where the wetlands are and the flood zones. This property is high and dry. It's in Commission District 1, and I put the community redevelopment area in there, so that might help you place it a little bit better in Leesburg. It's south of US 441. And Diane and I went out and took pictures. This is the posting. The picture on the top is a posting. Picture on the bottom is looking south along Cherrystone Street. Picture on the top is looking across the street. You get a little bit better feeling for what it looks like now. You can see grass and houses. Picture on the bottom is looking north on Cherrystone Street. And then we went in the backyard to give you a feeling for what is back there. So the top picture will show you where the lanai is going to be, and the photograph was taken shooting south. And then Diane walked around to the rear of the yard and took a picture. This is shooting into the back of the house where the lanai will be. And then the picture on the top probably gives you the best feeling for any interference out there at all. Any water's going to flow into the DRA, and the other houses are pretty much in line, and everybody has a great sight line out to the St. Johns River Water Management District area, as shown in the picture on the bottom. And that's all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Candy. Moving to the public responses, we received no public responses on this one at all based on the advertisement, the sign posting, and surrounding property owner letters. Under the department reviews, the application was sent out to all city departments. There were no substantive comments received at all. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to point your attention to the recommendation on the back, the last page of this group. I'd like you to notice the staff has reformatted our recommendations for variances. Staff feels like the analysis and background in this format are better suited for this type of meeting for the public to understand, and will still meet the requirements of the law. So I'd like to go ahead and read that recommendation to you. For variance 21-443, project known as Cherrystone variance, this is relief from section 25280, a variance to allow a reduced rear yard building setback from 18 feet to 10 feet. Under background, the property consists of one lot of approximately 0.19 acres in the Seasons at Park Hill subdivision, generally located east of Cherrystone and north of Slowwood Drive at 8018 Cherrystone Street, as we saw on the maps. The request would be to consider a variance from the required 18-foot rear building yard setbacks to 10 feet to allow the construction of a screen enclosure with a solid roof. When we look at the code requirements under section 25280 district development standards of the City of Leesburg Code of Ordinances, this requires an 18-foot rear yard building setback for properties in standard residential zoning districts. The structures which have a solid roof attached to a primary structure are required to meet the standard building setbacks. However, a screen room attached to the house which has a screen or non-solid, say a bird cage roof, would be permitted to have a rear yard building setback minimum of 5 feet under our codes. When we look at the circumstances of the request, the properties to the east of Cherrystone Street, and can we go to a map, please, Diane, of just an aerial, that, so we can get a good, yeah, that one right there is fine, great, thank you. If you look at the properties to the east of Cherrystone Street, they back up to a platted retention area, which is then bounded to the east by a large wetland area, which becomes Lake Harris. The areas to the east are not developable. They do not, therefore, create any unusual or unique situation which is specific to those properties east of Cherrystone Street and they do, I've got to learn to read here. They do create an unusual and unique situation which is specific to properties on the east side of Cherrystone Street and east and south of Slowwood Drive. But this situation is not present for all the other lots in the subdivision. It's literally this one row of lots on the east side backs up to retention, which then goes into swamp, which then becomes a lake. Under the findings, because the zoning setback codes are specific to the entire area of the districts for which they are written, they cannot account for specific or unusual circumstances such as the adjoining retention wetlands and lake. Although the request does not necessarily meet the 6 specific requirements in Section 2594 variances, staff does find that the circumstances noted above are unique, that approval of this request will be in harmony with the general intent and purpose of the zoning ordinance, and such variance will not be injurious to the area involved or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. Therefore, the Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this request. And staff would, Mark and Sharon Russell are the homeowners here. They could answer any questions that you may have. Staff has looked at this upside down, sideways, back and forth. We've done the same thing in Arlington Ridge, and staff sees no harm to the property or adjacent property owners in this matter. Therefore, we're recommending approval, Mr. Chairman.
Well, Dan, hats off to you and the staff for finding a way to make things work for people.
Thank you, sir.
You know, there are instances where it's okay to do something different. And I commend you for stepping up and doing that for these folks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, does the commission have any questions of staff? None. The Westlers are here. Does the commission have any questions of the Westlers? Hearing none. Yes, go ahead.
Not of them, have a comment otherwise.
Okay, speak into the
I've been out
microphone.
to the subdivision, I've driven the subdivision, this is totally, makes sense. There's nothing behind these houses.
Right.
And I'm almost of the opinion we should say all those lots on that street, rather than have them come individually if they want to add something. I don't think it can be modified, but granted to the other homeowners. It makes sense, there's nothing going to be developed behind there, there's houses behind them, it's all swampland.
That would be unique to have a variance that would be all encompassing to the street.
It would be, I like the idea. It might be easier to attempt for us to make a code change than to
Okay.
get all that many property owners together
Yeah,
and take
yeah.
care of it.
I just have a feeling we're going to have some other folks coming forward.
I
in the
think as
future when
time
they
goes
see
on,
this
we will.
Beautiful addition to their home, it's under construction. So.
Yeah, all right. Well, the folks are here, and if we have no questions of you, I think we can entertain a motion on this item.
I'd like to make a motion to approve relief from section 25-280 for a variance, variance 21-443 to allow for this setback variance.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Continue building, sir.
I was going to do solid panels, but then drill holes in it. Thank you for your time.
You bet. All right, we're moving on to public hearing case SSCP 21372, Blackton Small Scale Comp Plan. And we can deal with both of these items. No, this is,
Yes, sir, that's correct.
yeah. Yeah, we can discuss them all at once,
Thank you, sir.
2 and 3.
For Blackton Small Scale Comp Plan, LSCP 21372, and PUD zoning case PUD 21373, the overall request is for annexation, small scale comp plan, and rezoning. The zoning request is for a small area near the northwest corner of West Main Street and County Road 468. The comp plan request is for general commercial, and the zoning request is for C3 highway commercial. Under the background for this project, it's approximately 1 acre. It's just north of West Main and 468, as you can see in the photos above. Property is currently under Lake County jurisdiction. When we did the research on this project, we could not find an assignment of a future land use under Lake County. We couldn't figure out if that was a mapping error or just never was assigned. Regardless if it's annexed, the city would assign it to city general commercial. We've had, I think, one other instance of this in the years that I have been here. Under the zoning, the current zoning is Lake County R6, which is a residential zoning, but it lies along a very busy thoroughfare, and it would be better served as requested in the city as C3 highway commercial. Condi Harper, senior planner, will present the exhibits at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The aerial locates the properties for you. There are 3 houses along 468. The one closest to the intersection is not included in this application. So that locates it for you. They are seeking C3 highway commercial, and you can see that it's a commercial corridor all the way around it where it isn't industrial. And Lake County zoning was assigned to it. It's R6 with agricultural to the north. And the proposed zoning is C3 highway commercial. The future land use is general commercial for us. And Lake County, for whatever reason, didn't have any future land use assigned to it, which was interesting.
I bet they got a tax bill.
You know, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look and see. But urban medium-density land use for Lake County is all the way around it. So you'll see the proposed future land use on the next slide. It will make it C3 highway commercial, and it creates a pretty solid commercial core right there at that intersection. The surrounding land uses show housing at the top, which is part of the agricultural lands, and then commercial, either vacant or developed around it, and warehousing on the southwest corner. There are floodlands around it, but not on it. There's a property not included in this that does have a bit of wetlands on it. That'll have to be dealt with when the site plan comes through. And I threw in the community redevelopment area so you could see where it is in relationship to other parts of the city. And this one is in Commission District 3, believe it or not. And the city boundary just spells that out a little bit better for you. It shows you where the city is and where the county is. And there were 3 houses, and we only posted the first 2. So these are pictures showing the posting shooting into the front of the house. And the picture on the top is taken north along County Road 468, and the one on the bottom is looking across 468, which shows wetlands and undeveloped areas. The picture on the top is taken looking south on 468, and then the property to the south actually creates an L-shaped property that then goes north. And this was really the only access we had to it, so there's the other posting. And then shooting north on County Road 468, and then shooting across 468, it picks up that whole intersection. And then This picture is looking south on 468 toward the intersection. And that's all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Condi. Under department review, electric department will require some easements. The Public Works is aware of a potential redesign working with DOT on the corner of Main and CR 468 in sometime in the future. This will not impact this property. Lake County Public Works would require sidewalks along the right-of-way. I want to clarify something on the property itself. This is 1 acre that is being annexed and rezoned, but the project also includes the property to the immediate west that wraps around the gas station and I think that's a Dollar General or something there.
Right.
And so the overall project would be for office and warehouse type uses, which falls under the C3 zoning district. And that's why we didn't want to put a PUD on it and just leave it as more open commercial in that area. I think Diane's going back to one of those maps. There we go. Yeah. So you see where those 3 arrows come together. If you go immediately to the, immediately to the west, I might have said east, but immediately to the west there, it wraps around the little group of buildings right there, that property immediately. The overall project will include that property to the east. And this, by doing that, they'll ensure better access off of 468. So
They're not looking for access off of Main Street.
they actually have a shared access with the property along Main Street where you see the 2 buildings. You have the, I think that's a Shell station on the corner, and then those 2 buildings there. You can-
Probation office, I think.
I think probation office, yes, sir.
I used to go there all the time.
Okay, right, I saw you there. And we didn't recognize each other. So there is a shared access already, so they won't need one on 468, but, excuse me, on West Main, but they would on 468. In terms of public responses, there was 1 phone call, I think it was, and they just wanted to know about the uses. I'd like to go ahead and read the recommendations into the record. For the small-scale comp plan 21372, Michael W. Blackton, the Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. The project meets the requirements of Chapter 163.3184 Florida statutes for comprehensive plan amendments. 2, the proposed request is compatible with the adjacent future land use designations of Lake County Urban Medium Density and City of Leesburg General Commercial. 3, the proposed request is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts of Lake County Agriculture and City of Leesburg C3 Highway Commercial. And 4, the proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element, Goal 1, Objective 1.6. The action requested is to vote to approve the small-scale comprehensive plan designation from Lake County to City of Leesburg General Commercial and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Moving over to the zoning recommendation, Planning and Zoning Division is recommending for RZ 21373 Blackton zoning case. We're recommending approval of this request for the following reasons. 1, the proposed request is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts of C3 Highway Commercial and Lake County Agriculture. 2, the proposed request will allow additional uses for the property that are consistent with the current surrounding future land uses of General Commercial and Lake County Urban Medium Density. And 3, the proposed request does not appear to create a detriment to the surrounding properties. Therefore, the action requested is 1, vote to approve the staff's recommendation to rezone the subject property from R6 Urban Residential District to C3 Highway Commercial and forward this to the City Commission for their consideration. Mr. Chairman, the applicant is Mr. Mike Hanna of Matthews Hanna Construction, and he was planning to be here for this meeting. I spoke to him late this afternoon. He was unable to attend, and I asked him, would he allow us to leave it on the agenda since this is a very simple case of going to a C3 where C3 belongs anyway. And the zoning is appropriate for the location, and we're willing to attempt to answer any questions the commission may have if it pleases the commission.
Commissioner Senate has a question.
Dan, I don't know if I missed something or not, but the one lot that's not included, does it still have a house? Is there somebody living there, or does the developer own that?
Candy can answer that one for us.
Yes, sir, there is a house on that lot, and the gentleman who owned it came in to talk to us, and their concerns were really more with how the land around them is going to be developed and how it's going to affect their property. And I explained to them how it goes through the Development Review Committee and that their property could not be disturbed. And they were fine. They were also interested to know how this would improve the price of their property.
Okay. Commission have any questions of staff? Being that the applicant's not here, Dan would have to answer any of those questions. Or
And-
Candy.
And the uses were basically office and warehouse. It wasn't anything unusual, anything
Right.
like that.
All right, I'll entertain a motion if there's no more discussion.
Mr. Chairman, case number SSCP 21-372, I move to approve and pass on to the city commission.
I have a motion to approve the small-scale comp plan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Raise your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving right along to RZ 21373, the rezoning of the same property. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve RZ 21-373.
Have a motion for approval. Do I hear a second? All in favor signify by saying aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving right along, gentlemen. Public hearing case SSCP, small scale comp plan amendment for Sundance mixed use.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For small-scale comp plan 21-461 and PUD 21-462, this is Sundance subdivision. This is a zoning request for 85 units on 22 acres plus some additional 11 acres for a total of 33 acres. The additional 11 acres would be used for mini warehouse and storage. This is goes along with the plan unit development zoning that is shown in your packets. Under the background, again, this is 33 acres on the south side of County Road 48, west of County Road US 27 and east of 33. It's currently under Lake County jurisdiction. Future land use is currently Lake County Regional Office, and the request is City Estate. The zoning is currently Lake County Agricultural, and the request is for a PUD. Let's see. You did see this project, Mr. Chairman, back in June of 2021, and did recommend approval under a PUD with the same requirements, lot sizes, density, etc. The difference today is that in this submittal, the plan was reduced by 45 lots from, I believe it was 130 to 85, and there were some light industrial uses inserted on the east side of the property as a buffer to the heavy industrial use to the west. Candy Harper, senior planner, can present the exhibits at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. The aerial locates the property for you at the intersection of County Road 48 and 33, and it lies immediately west of Haywood Worm Farm Road. This shows the zoning of Leesburg around the property, and you can see we're slowly creeping out that way. And the proposed zoning is a planned unit development. Lake County's zoning of the property is agriculture with residential around it as well as some industrial, some agriculture, and a planned industrial to the north. The future land use, you'll see we have our land use shown on this map, which is industrial around it with a little bit of residential. The proposed future land use is estate residential. And Lake County has this property as, I believe, regional office is what they called it. So they, the surrounding land uses show light manufacturing to the north, residential to the north, to the west, and there's actually a strip along the south property line that's residential as well, and single-family and commercial light manufacturing to the east, and industrial and offices to the south. This land is high and dry. There are wetlands in the area, but not on the property. And this is also in Commission District 3. This will show you the proximity to the closest community redevelopment area and maybe help you locate this property a little better. And we did post the property on Haywood Farm Road. The top picture is showing you the posting and shooting into the site. Bottom picture is looking north along Haywood Worm Farm Road. Next picture is looking east across Haywood Worm Farm Road, and the bottom picture is looking south. Then we went out onto the County Road 48 and took a picture into the property showing you the posting. Bottom picture is taken looking west on County Road 48, looking north on County Road 48, and then looking east. And there are actually two properties on 48. One is much smaller than the other, so we posted both. And that is a posting on County Road 48. And the bottom picture is looking west on County Road 48. The top picture is looking north on County Road 48, and the bottom picture is taken looking east on County Road 48. And that's all I have, Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Connie. Under the department review, we received no substantive responses at all on this. Lake County did have some comments to include additional right-of-way, sidewalks needed, left and right turns for the access off 468, which are pretty standard. I think those were, if I recall correctly, those were the same comments they had previously. In terms of public responses, interestingly, as you saw this plan back in June of 2021, as I recall, we had, I believe it was one public response from the neighbor to the east, which is a more heavy industrial use. And in this case, under the same conditions, same mail out, same sign posting, we did not receive any. So I believe that the industrial, based on that, I would have to say the industrial insertion of the light industry in this, mini storage units probably made that okay for the adjoining property owner. In terms of the recommendations, if I could read those quickly. Under SSCP 21372, excuse me, I have the wrong page, Mr. Chairman, I apologize.
Yeah.
Under SSCP 21461, for Sundance Mixed Use, Future Land Use Amendment, Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of the request for the following reasons. One, the project meets the requirements of Chapter 163, 3184 Florida statutes for comprehensive plan amendments. Two, the proposed request, as conditioned in the City of Leesburg, case number 21-462, is compatible with the adjacent future land use designations of Lake County Regional Office, Lake County Industrial, and Lake County Urban Medium Density. Three, the proposed request as conditioned in City of Leesburg, case number PUD 21462, is compatible with the current surrounding zoning districts in Lake County of planned industrial, urban residential, heavy industrial, agriculture, and urban residential, light industrial, and R1 rural residential. The proposed future land use designation for the site is consistent with the city's growth management plan, future land use element, Goal 1, Objective 1.6. The action requested on this zoning is to vote on this comp plan is to vote to approve the small-scale comp plan designation from Lake County Regional Office to City of Leesburg Estate Residential and forward to this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Moving to the recommendation for the PUD 21462 Sundance Mixed Use, the Planning and Zoning Division is recommending approval of this request for the following reasons. One, the proposed request to rezone the subject property from Lake County Agriculture to City of Leesburg Plan Unit Development is compatible with the adjacent property zone Lake County Planned Industrial, R6, which is urban residential, heavy industrial, agriculture, light industrial, and rural residential. Two, the proposed request is compatible with the existing future land use designations of Lake County Regional Office, urban, medium density, and industrial. And the intent there is that is as conditioned. The proposed request is consistent finally under number 3 with the city's growth management plan, future land use element, goal 1, objective 1.6. Therefore, the action requested is vote to approve the recommendation to rezone the subject property from Lake County A agriculture to City of Leesburg PUD plan unit development and forward this recommendation to the City Commission for their consideration. Under the PUD, the differences here is simply a reduction of the number of lots and moving in some mini warehouse storage units to create a buffer. We still have everything the same as it came to you in June. 6,000 square foot minimum lots, 1,600 square foot houses minimum with 2-car garages. There are architectural standards, 25-foot buffer around the entire residential portion of the property. Approximately 0.6 acres of recreation for the community. We do envision this to be lot sizes very similar to much of what Arlington Ridge is. Therefore, staff is recommending approval on this comp plan and rezoning and the amended site plan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Again, the lot sizes,
The lot sizes are 50 by 120, which is the same thing that we saw back in June, which is 6,000 square feet.
right.
If you look on, and Mr. Chris Germana from Germana Engineering is here. I apologize, I meant to mention that, to answer any questions you may have. If you look on the site plan itself, the portion on the west side or the left side of the screen are the single-family houses. On the right side is where the mini warehouse or office uses will be located, and you can see that created a significant buffer there.
I can't read this little knockout on the top, well, on here it's top left corner, but bottom left corner there on the screen. I can't read that. Right here, Dan.
Hold 1 second.
I mean, it's way back there. Something station, there's a lift station, is that what that says?
It says a lift station on that little portion there, yes, sir. And I apologize, I can't remember what it said on the rest of it.
Yeah, I could help out with that.
Thank you,
So
Chris.
for the record, my name is Christopher Germana with Germana Engineering in Claremont.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So that's correct. It is a lift station and a stormwater track that is proposed in, excuse me, the southwest corner. If that's the area, that's a little hard to read.
Okay. Any questions of this gentleman? Is there someone here that wants to speak on this? I think it's Philip and Debbie LaFleur. Please step forward and identify yourself and where you live.
My name is Debbie LaFlamme, and we live 3726 CR 48 right next to this place. And he just proposed to put a lift station right beside our home that we've been living there for 40 years. I really wish,
Pull the microphone to you a little bit so we can hear you.
I wish that y'all would have him reconsider putting a lift station beside my home. Maybe put the little, what they've added now, this is why we're here now, because homes, okay, we can deal with. But what they've added now is, you know, the little storage units, have them come back there, not lift stations and whatnot. You know, we have to live there.
Correct. The lift station, I'm not familiar with the hazards of that. Is that a noisy issue or is it a odorous issue?
I can jump in on that. So a lift station is it's a pump station that basically allows the wastewater to go out as to a force main. And typically, we locate that at the lowest point of the property. The stormwater is in that area. But let me say that that location is a placeholder for right now. We're going to go through permitting, so it's not set in stone.
Correct.
If there's a concern about the lift station at that location, I feel that there's probably other areas within the development that it can be moved to. The stormwater kind of has to go at the lowest point. Water does go downhill, so we need to kind of stick to that area. We just saw a little opportunity to kind of get that in there, but, you know, we would look for any option to move it.
If you could move it over to the, by the storage facilities, it would be helpful to you, would it not?
You know, I would love, do you want me to go back?
Please.
I would love for the storage facility to be by our home. This way, we don't have lift stations and all these neighbors we're not used to. We're used to cattle.
See, you would like this thing flipped.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you're saying?
I would, yeah, I know it's inevitable for them to, you know, put this in.
You live here?
I'm not sure. Yes. Yes.
To the west?
Yes,
Right
sir.
by the lift station?
Yes, sir.
Now, how big is your home? You have acreage in there, or?
Yes, sir. We have 5, almost 6 acres.
6
And it
acres.
goes back to where our home is. And there's an old railroad track that runs behind our home. And it was nothing but cattle. And they didn't show the old 2-story house up front of the place either.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We've had to watch the cows leave. We've had to watch all the, you know, and I understand, it's inevitable. Everybody's building everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
But to live by a lift station is not my idea of home anymore.
Well, I'm sure they want to be a good neighbor to you. Again, I'll ask the developer or the representative of the developer to,
Sir?
Again, Mr. Chairman, if I may?
yes.
I'd like to propose an amendment to the language that requires the development to place the lift station as far as possible using engineering data that gets it as far away from Ms. LaFlamme's property, and that it would have to be, the lift station itself would be fenced in a 6-foot vinyl or something like that, whatever the codes we can do, because and then in addition, we could make that language change, and then in addition, just so Ms. Flam knows, there is a required 25-foot buffer and then a 6-foot fence, which is better than nothing, but it is something. That is written in the PUD, which if this passes through City Commission with that amended language, I believe, I can't guarantee it, but I believe it would greatly help your concerns. But, and Mr. Germano would have to do the engineering to make it work, but if we could potentially locate that as far away from your home as possible, we can word it. I can't guarantee it.
Dan, Carolee has updated site plans, and the updated site plan shows the lift station closer to the mini warehouse buildings and completely on the other side
Okay.
of the lot.
Thank you,
So
Mr.
let me,
Germano.
I'm going to give mine to them.
You see what?
No, I don't.
Solves it.
Bottom right.
And
Come this way, see a little box.
And sorry I didn't bring enough copies of that, but that is what I believe is our latest concept plan. And I think with that concept plan, it puts a stormwater pond on the south side, which also provides an additional buffer to the properties to the south by having that stormwater management on that true south side. So with that, the lift station actually went along with that. We're kind of creating a lower point, more on that southerly side. Everything still kind of migrates to the southwest-south, but I think that probably is going to be the direction that the project would go in, which hopefully would assist with the comment was just made on the lift station location.
We may have to send you a bill for our advice.
This, thank you, Mr. Romano, this solves, I think, and did Mr. Plum get a copy?
Yes, I actually provided a
Okay,
copy. I didn't
great.
have enough copies for everybody, but I did provide a copy.
Okay.
So,
Is that comforting to you, ma'am?
Yes, and I'd like to know what the fence will be made of between.
sure I can. So for the lift station is what you're referring to?
I'm talking about all the way down, you have.
If I may, it is, right, it's written in here, a 6-foot privacy fence consisting of PVC or other such synthetic material shall be installed on the western, southern, eastern boundary of the property. So it is required that it's there, and it is on the property line. So the fence would be on the property line, then the 25-foot buffer, then the lots begin. So this, I believe that this solves the problem. I really appreciate you coming in and bringing that up, because in all honesty, I did not notice that. But I think this takes care of the problem.
So they'll have the 25-foot buffer plus the stormwater track.
No,
She'll have-
it's a fence.
Yeah.
You'll have a buffer and fence between y'all, and then the,
With this, it's saying it's all the way. up.
right, and the
Mm-hmm. Yes,
lift
ma'am.
station's over to the east a little bit.
Right, but there's this
yeah.
stormwater retention area here too that's
Right. Right. And I'm
plenty.
talking
Yeah,
And then
right.
everything is temporary.
All right.
The units, are you redoing, everything's temporary, like I heard you say. If y'all could really consider the units coming this way, it'd be great. We wouldn't be here anymore, you know.
Where the rear of the lots are not facing towards your property, is that?
I want the units there.
She's
Okay,
asking
the
me to put
flip-flop that was mentioned. And the premise of that, just to give a little background of that, so we were here, as Mr. Miller mentioned earlier, where we had residential units all the way from the west to the east. And when we went to the city commission, there was a concern about having the residential up to that industrial, just a compatibility of maybe noise and the operation. So the plan, why we feel it's a little challenge to flip-flop it is we reacted to city commission's comments and did a transitional piece where we have residential against residential to the west. Then we have the storage or mixed use, which is kind of in between, and then going towards the industrial part. So it's kind of leaning in that direction, that flip-flopping it probably won't be ideal based on the history of our past submittal. And it's,
Putting houses back by our.
we're putting houses to the west, we're doing a transition of a softer industrial, which is the flex space warehouse, then going to the true industrial operation, which I believe is a basket company over there. So with their operation with dust and type of items there. So that's the direction that we would like to go with the project to show that compatibility.
Basket company?
I believe it's,
Vaults for
Vaults.
caskets.
For caskets, for,
yes,
What you're talking about over at Wilbert.
on Worm Farm
On the
Road,
corner of Worm-
that intersection there. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
On this, it shows three connections between the storage facility and the subdivision.
Those are,
Is that ingress and egress between the two?
So the intention of the connections between the residential and the mixed use is for fire access. It's going to be temporary stabilized, so it basically just for fire protection purposes, so that there's access between both projects, but it's not going to be used by residents or by people within the mixed use.
Yeah, because that could be a nightmare. Everybody wants to come into all these
Yeah.
units and
No,
drive through
that's not the
neighborhood.
intent. It's going to be stabilized. Maybe they'll have, a gate or something that the fire department can go through, but it's really more for fire protection purposes. And that'll probably evolve as we go through the permitting process. of
understand that. I
How many
just-
they want and.
Wanted to make sure that wasn't your concept.
That's a very good question, though, and that's not our intention to have free flow between
Because
both.
that would be a nightmare.
Agreed.
Okay, any other questions of the developer, petitioner?
I just want to clarify, the second site plan that you're working with is not the same as what's on the screen up here.
That's
So
correct,
which is
sir.
the one that you're proposing?
The one that I provided the hard copy of is what we're proposing.
So that's taking that,
The intent of it's still the same. I think the unit count is the same. We just kind of flip-flop the stormwater pond. And so that's what we'd like to proceed with your approval tonight, and also to be in the upcoming agenda package for city council.
And this is a much improved plan. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the commission? Dan, do we need to put some particular wording in here on these motions to cover what we've amended?
I do not believe so at this point, because what I was talking about in terms of changing the wording was prior to seeing this new one.
Okay,
And
very
this
good.
new one,
But you want to replace the maps.
we do want to, okay, thank
Site
you.
plan.
Yes, sir, that's actually correct. I stand corrected. We will want to have, and I don't mean to step into the procedure of Mr. Vasquez, but we do need a motion that states we're replacing this site plan, yes.
Which moves the lift station to the east.
Yes.
Okay. If there are no more discussion on this issue, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve SSCP 21-461 with the change in site plans as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to PUD 21462. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve PUD-21-462.
It's a rezoning on the Sundance mixed use. I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have a-
Discussion?
Yes, discussion. Go ahead.
Technically, the site plan is in that second one anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I believe,
well,
so that needs to be added if that's the pleasure of,
With the amended site plan.
With you, yeah. All right.
With the amended site plan that moves the lift station to the corner on the east side of the property.
is that seconded?
Second with the
seconded.
amended site plan.
Sorry.
I have a motion and a second finally. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you. Good luck with the city commission, sir. Okay. Do you have, wait a minute, fellas. Do you have an announcement to make?
I have a couple of quick
Attention,
announcements. Number one, Carrie Lee, as you all know, recently had this beautiful baby girl named Magnolia. So she has decided to be a stay-at-home mom for a while. I've told her that as soon as the opportunity comes back, she has to come back. And Carrie Lee, thank you for all that you've done for us. It's been great.
don't we have to approve that for her?
Should I put it in the form of a motion?
Carrie Lee, you please come forward.
Oh. It's been such a pleasure working with each of you. I can't thank Dan enough because he took me in as this little broken bird. I didn't know anything about planning, and I've just been so humbled by just everyone's grace and support, and they've followed me on my little crazy year of marriage and babies, and so
Well,
it's bittersweet.
motherhood compliments you wonderfully.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I don't blame you for wanting to stay home with that bambino.
Yeah, I'll be. I bring her back occasionally, but I'm scared to get it. I'm scared for her to get civics from Candy. It's a little intense. No, but
Her name is P&Z Magnolia, is that it?
Yes.
P&Z Magnolia,
She's
okay.
the
Right.
baby for planning and zoning.
Blessings to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any announcements from the commission? Anybody got anything to say other than
Just
Soccer
one,
game at the high school.
just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. I recently found out that our very own Candy Harper is officially qualified for Medicare, and just want to let you know that.
Well, you know,
I'm right behind you.
And Carrie Lee's husband was kind enough to bring me a birthday cake that Dan immediately named the Medi-Cake.
the Medicaid. And, you know, how rumors get through the city of Leesburg, and I heard a rumor, and from this gentleman over here, who is our sound system, and that there's a possibility that we may be moving back upstairs eventually. Nothing would please me more than to do that.
We'll find out about any time periods.
So, stay tuned. We will keep you informed as to where we will be meeting, but hopefully it'll be upstairs. If there's nothing else, we stand adjourned, or set adjourned.
Did I talk to you about the medical marijuana guy?
Need help, Timmy?
No, I mean, sorry to do that.